All right, Wolchuk, I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. This is from Pro Football Focus, and they've got the strengths and weaknesses for the top offensive tackles in this draft. And
tackles specifically.
Yeah, tackles specifically. And the problem I'm having with this right now is I'm scared to death of a lot of these guys. But I know that potentially Dallas could be looking at this spot, right? I mean, we could be looking at one of these guys.
They could be. I mean, they're definitely, I would think, going to need a guard if Zach Martin's not back.
Okay.
But, yeah, we'll be looking at tackle.
Yeah, okay. Or maybe we move one of these tackles.
Or maybe you move a tackle.
Okay. They went through like 5 offensive tackles. Okay. Their offensive tackle 1 is Will Campbell from LSU. Okay. Now, here's I'll go through the weakness. Let me just go through the weakness of that, of the player, okay?
Okay.
And you tell me if they've got this guy right, all right? Because I've got my thoughts about him too, but I want to talk about his weakness. Higher pre-snap stance leads to high pad level when engaging.
Uh-huh.
Arm length could be shorter than his 6'6" frame suggests. Has some lack of flexibility in his body to stretch his kick and protect the outside shoulder. Does that sound like Will Campbell to you a little bit?
Yeah, because I have in my notes, poor hand placement can be a problem. Will get his hands caught outside at times.
All the time, it seems like.
And yes, he can be a little late with his back pedal. I have that note in there too.
Kick,
and I absolutely hate his stance.
That 2-point stance.
I hate it.
Yeah.
He just stands upright.
But still all the other positives, other things positive about him, first round player on your board?
Really strong. I mean, I think he's got a good base. He's good against speed rushers. I think he's another guy that I would look to maybe kick inside to guard, though.
I think you're right about that. Okay, OT number 2 is Josh Simmons. This is my favorite one from Ohio State. Okay. He's their OT number 2. Let me tell you his weakness. Hands have a low starting point. Doesn't have true displacement strength in the run game. I think
he's really good in the run game. I disagree with that.
I do too. Lower weight makes anchoring tough, though good knee bender and balance help.
Yeah, because in my notes I've got he can get overpowered and pushed back in the lap of the quarterback a couple times. Penn State specifically was a game that I saw for him that wasn't good. But overall, I guess his arms are so long. I didn't have an issue with them starting low because I think that he's fast with his hands.
Real quick with his hands. I think he did have some strength in the running game.
I thought he was a phenomenal run blocker is what I put. He moves people off the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kelvin Banks is number 3. Okay, height hints at shorter arm length, which shows on tape.
Yeah.
Not an imposing run blocker. He lacks displacement to move when square with defensive linemen. Too susceptible to push-pull moves. Hands could be more precise at the ready. I think his hands could be a little bit of a problem here.
I think he's a better run blocker than they're giving him credit for. I think he does get movement in the run game, and I think his processing. I think he's a really smart player.
Yeah,
he processes stunts, blitzes really well. But I can understand what they're talking about with the hands.
Yeah. Okay. All 3 of these guys, would you consider taking at 12 that we've talked about so far?
Simmons, I don't know. With that patellar tendon, that scares the hell out of me now.
Yep.
I would consider Banks. I'd consider Banks and Campbell. I'd love to know what they envision. Are they looking at them as I'm going to kick him inside to guard?
Right.
Because Campbell, I think, could be awesome at that. But I'd consider both of them because they are, to me, the 2 best tackles. With Simmons being injured, I'll put that caveat out there. But I'm about building in the trenches, man, so I'm not going to have an issue with that.
Their OT number 4 is Armand Ino from
the Mizzou kid.
Missouri kid. Okay, let me tell you what they think his weaknesses are. He struggles with anchor on the edge despite his 320-pound weight. He can have trouble lining up guys in space as a puller.
Mm-hmm.
Needs more strength for maintaining blocks.
Yeah.
Need a little bit more finisher's mentality with him.
He can be grabby on the outside of the shoulders. I had a note about that. I wonder if that's going to get him in trouble. I think he's a zone run scheme guy.
Yeah.
So I could see a team like San Francisco at 11 I could see them sniping him before you're even on the clock. I think he would, like, I thought he'd fit perfectly with San Francisco, Miami, like that type of Shanahan run scheme. He'll fit well with them.
I didn't feel like, though, that this guy, I would consider at 12.
Me either. I think the other linemen to me are safer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that they're more on point with what their weaknesses, what they're talking about them, than some of the others that we've read here.
Sure.
A little bit. All right, and the last guy is Gray Zabel from North Dakota State. He's going to be offensive tackle 5 for these guys.
Yeah, he's a guard.
Yeah, I think so too. Here's the weakness. Length likely will kick him inside.
Right.
But as a center, now you thought about him as a center.
Okay.
His height and weight are in the 90 percentile with what their rankings are. Smaller hands, shorter arms. Most of his long reps come from the edge rushers beating him to the inside. Or excuse me, lost reps, excuse me. Most of his lost reps come from edge rusher beating him inside. So that tells me that they don't feel like that he could slide inside. Like everything outside, he's good. Does he have the power step? We've seen that with Tyron Smith at times.
Right.
Getting beat to the inside there. Do you like what they said about him but being a potential center?
I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, but I love Zabel.
Yeah.
And if he was there at 44 and the Cowboys scout him as a center and then you can kick BB to guard, I'd be excited at that because the play temperament for me is everything I want in a lineman.
Yeah, they talk about this guy with, top-tier grip strength, very good at lining up tackles between the shoulders, whether it's on the line. Great athlete for an offensive lineman, explosive step to thrive in zone blocking scheme.
He's a good athlete.
Very good athlete. Good core strength and all that.
Redirects and recovers well. He can pull and trap.
With Gavin, with the lack of centers in this draft, I think they might have found something here with this guy potentially playing.
I didn't even think of him as a center, but he's played all around the offensive line.
Yeah.
Like he spent time at left guard, right tackle, played left tackle this past season. So position flex, I wouldn't put it past him to be able to. He's super smart.
Yeah,
he can play
smart.
center.
Yeah, he looked good in the Colorado game against good competition.
Great. Yeah, he did.
And he was good at the Senior Bowl.